Up and Adams coming to you. Oh man, this is the last day of the week. It's Summer Friday here on the program. We have a big one, a Super Bowl champion coming your way. He logged in early. He logged in before I even logged in. Emanuel Sanders is here. Let's talk wide receivers. Who deserves to get paid? We're gonna go around the league. One of my favorite analysts. Where has he been? Where has he been? I've been missing Sanders. We're gonna talk a little Saints, a little Broncos, of course, and then Trevor Sikkema of PFF fame put together a list of quarterbacks. He ranked them using, some opinions, using some subjective and objective analysis. Of course, as PFF does that better than anybody. He'll be joining us because I'm going to dissect it. Let's go. All right, Chandler Parsons is going to stop by as well. We're going to do a little parlay action with him because his Mavs want to go take on the Celtics. Can they? Will they? What's going on? Towns? What's going on with Kyrie? I think he bounces back. We're going to get into all of that with my friend Chandler Parsons as well. Looking at the live chat, guys, thanks for hanging out. That is a fridge. Yes. Looks like a... Should we see what's in my fridge? Let's see how embarrassing. That's my fridge, you guys. Not literally nothing. Literally some chicken from yesterday, and that's all, folks. Nothing in there. In the freezer, do you guys think there's anything in the freezer? Let's check. I've got an ice pack, a spoon, a couple strawberry lemonade popsicles, and everybody needs a frozen corsage in there. In their freezer as well. That was, I believe, back to the Oscars, another world, another time, and another land ago. Hanging out with you guys. Yes, Marissa, the fridge tour. I don't even have condiments, like true sociopath. Don't have anything. And I do believe that whole thing is empty with the chicken, so it's fine. Okay, you need some food, girl. We get it. Mountain Spring. There's there's nothing in there actually. Some hard-boiled eggs from Erewhon that were too expensive. I can't even believe that they're in there. That's in there too. Sikkema is a Goff hater. Really? A Goff hater? We have to ask him about that. What else should I ask Sikkema? If you want to just, guys, Google Trevor Sikkema PFF, it'll come up right in the news section, the list. I looked at it. Marissa produced the segment, and we're gonna hold his feet to the fire on some of these guys and give him some love because he actually has Joe Burrow appropriately and where he should be. But we have a lot to get to. Emanuel Sanders is going to hop on. OTAs, they're happening. A lot of interesting stuff going on. So I thought we should touch on what's going on in Baltimore for a quick sec. A lot of focus on the addition of this guy and what he's going to bring. So let's take a look at Derrick Henry. I've got to talk about what the Ravens lost a lot over the past couple of weeks. 16 guys, 16 from last year are now elsewhere. Patrick Queen, Clowney, OBJ, 60% of the starting O-line. There are holes that need to be addressed. But this week, it's been fun to hear from some of the guys who are excited, stepping up, know that they've got an opportunity with those spots missing. And one of them is 2023 I think third round pick, Trenton Simpson. Okay. He is taking Patrick Queen's spot next to Rowe. He's going to be next to Roquan, which has me excited, fans excited, players on the other ball by the side of the ball taking notice as well. Here is tight end Isaiah Likely and how he has looked in practice so far.
I'm gonna give him a little credit today. He definitely beat me on the rep today. I know y'all seen it. I really like losing a lot, but he definitely, he's showing, that he's ready for the opportunity. I mean, he's showing that he definitely took this offseason. He's taking this offseason, well, like a pro. He's definitely showing that, what you guys seen on tape against Pittsburgh wasn't a fluke. He's fast, he's physical, he's listening, and he's really just, soaking everything up like a sponge. I mean, whatever Roquan tells him to do during the play or anybody, even coach, he's taking that and running with it. And he's not, scared to do anything in the defense.
Okay, this is a big deal. I had Trenton Simpson on the show before he was drafted last year. So Ravens fans, as we're getting to know him and clearly loving him, here's a little something about what you need to really know about Trenton.
So what would you say that your biggest strength is on the field?
I would say definitely my spotting the quarterback, blitzing. I feel like when I'm moving full speed, that 4-4-3 translate on the field. Every time I'm taking off and I'm moving at full speed, but I definitely blitzing. I feel like I have a great ability to understand angles, to tackle whoever has the ball, but really spying the quarterback, and really blitzing off the edge. Like I know when I blitz, I'm going for the strip sack. I'm always a turnover guy. Want to be a playmaker at all times. So that's definitely my best attribute.
Okay, versatility, aggressiveness. He sounds like a Ravens linebacker, and I don't know how I didn't see it coming back then when interviewing him. By the way, you didn't hear him wrong. He ran a 4.43 40, you guys. So if he's soaking things up from Roquan, getting the love from Isaiah Likely and his teammates, and he's making the right reads with that kind of 4.43 speed, they might not miss Patrick Queen as much as everyone assumes and everyone thinks. He's certainly a player I've got my eyes on through training camp as an absolute stud going into 2024 with big shoes to fill, which seem to be motivating him quite well. Another player expected to step into a big role this year is former first rounder Rashad Bateman, okay? Rashad Bateman, a guy I was really high on for the past 3 years, hasn't quite worked out for him. A lot of injuries. We haven't seen him produce at the level that we all know and hope that he can. Usually first rounders that have these kind of bumps in the road are getting their fifth year options declined. They're getting their fifth year options traded. So this is interesting. And it sort of caught Hamilton's eye that DaCosta and company announced that they're extending him this week. It's a little bit of a, oh, interesting. It doesn't happen that often. So Bateman said yesterday that even he is surprised by that. So he clearly, has done a number on the coaching staff, and they know more than we do, and the front office, in terms of faith and what he can do when healthy, when given an opportunity. And it's showing up in OTAs as we're seeing and we're hearing. Mark Andrews asked after practice what it was going to take for Bateman to have the breakout that we all would love to see, and listen to his emphasis here.
I think it's happening right now. I think he looks incredible. Everything, his route running is, catching the ball, being where he's supposed to be. He's got it down to a science. I know he's worked real hard, but, he looks as about put together as he's ever been. So this is going to be a big year for Rashad Bateman. I'm calling it now.
Okay, so if he can do that, and I believe Mark Andrews and Zay and Derrick Henry and those tight ends, it's possible to think we're going to get, and the Lamar looking the way it is, this offense might be the best we've seen with a two-time MVP. I don't even know what to make of that. Like the Ravens right now look like the scariest team in the NFL by far. I think, do we have Chandler? Oh my God, Chandler's here. Here I'm just talking about the Ravens. I don't know, you're just hanging out in the back room there. What's going on, man?
Just highly concerned about your refrigerator situation.
What's in your fridge? What does your fridge look like?
Stocked with some juices, some teas, some waters. Yours is an issue.
Mine's an issue. I think I've got it's bleak. I've got to say
it is bleak.
It's not looking good. Well, there's a reason for it, but at least I have Dolly Parton. Like, do you have a Dolly Parton magnet on your fridge that says I will always let you know? So I win. What's going on with your Mavs? Let's hype them up. Do they need a pep talk? What's the story?
It's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row. So I think last game they could have swept them. They put themselves in position to win. Karl Anthony Towns on the Timberwolves, he finally kind of got out of his shooting slump, had a big game, and the duo of Kyrie and Luka kind of struggled last game. But I've been saying all week after this that the pressure now goes on Dallas if the Timberwolves can find a way to win this game tonight. I think the Mavs, they can't dilly-dally tonight. They have to find a way to get this done. I still think it's a tall task for a team to go in there and beat them 4 times in a row to win this series. So I think the huge advantage still goes to Dallas. Looking at that spread, I said on Run It Back earlier, I don't understand how they're 4.5-point underdogs. That's a lot for a team that's up 3-1 to be down. I know home court is good. I know Timberwolves play a lot better at home, but that spread to me just seems awfully high.
Yeah, no team in NBA history I found out this morning has been down 3-zip and come back to win a series. It's happened in every other sport, not the NBA. They're 0-155 all time. So we've seen it in baseball. We'll see it in hockey. We'll see if it happens in the NBA. You don't seem too nervous at all. But I gotta, there's a little NFL NBA moment here. Game 4, Anthony Edwards poses for a picture with Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys star, wearing a pair of Ant's shoes. And he said he told Micah he'd bring him back some nice shoes for Game 6. So looks like there's some confidence happening here, Chandler.
Yeah, this is why people love Anthony Edwards, because he's 22 years old. He truly believes this. His confidence is insane. It's through the roof. He did this last series with Denver where he said, "Don't worry, we'll see you again." And now he's doing the same thing with Micah Michael Parsons. I got Michael Parsons. I've seen him now wear like 5 different NBA jerseys though, so I really need to find out who's his actual team. Because I've seen him with a Boston Celtics jersey. I've seen him with the Philadelphia 76ers jersey. I know he's on the Cowboys. I know Dallas is a city, but I got to figure out who his actual favorite team is because he rocks an awful lot of jerseys.
Is that a faux pas? Is that a problem? Are you calling Micah Parsons? I feel like Justin Bieber used to do that. He used to feel like I would wear everybody's jersey.
Well, no, it's like
Right.
if you like a player, then it's one thing to wear like a player's jersey. But I feel like he wears a Celtics jersey at a Celtics game. He wears a Sixers jersey at a 76ers game. So I think he's just showing love, obviously, to his boys on those teams. But it's just funny because I've seen him literally wear 5 different jerseys.
I feel like sometimes when you're invited to games, you don't wear this on this side. Like the team that's inviting you, you kind of are encouraged heavily to wear.
Oh, for sure. And especially when Michael Rubin definitely was like, hey, wear this jersey and put his Parsons on it. No doubt.
Okay, game 5 is tonight. It's all very exciting. So we are going to bust out a parlay right now. So former Mav Chandler's given the Mav side of things and giving the love. This is the parlay we cooked up. What is the first leg?
Okay, so my first leg, I like Dallas Mavericks money line. I definitely love them with the points, but money line, I like that even better odds there. I think they're going to win this game. I think that they know the pressure is on them. If they lose this game, they do not want the series to extend. So I think that they handle business and they get it done, and they have a trip to the finals against the Celtics after tonight.
Ooh, I love it. I'm sticking with the Mavs. I will be a good friend to you, and I will say 20 plus points from Kyrie, who only had 16 last game, which is crazy because he's had 20 plus in every other game in this series. I don't think he gets stifled back-to-back games.
I love that pick. He's got to be aggressive. It's him and Luka, the best 2 players on the floor. Anthony Edwards is on the rise, but I think Kyrie Irving, he's got to be aggressive. I take 20 shots, which means he's going to have over 20 points. So I like that pick.
What do you got?
My next one is a tricky one because PJ Washington has been so good in the playoffs. He's been such a good addition to the Mavs at the trade deadline where they just give up 1 first-round pick for him. So I love him having 2+ made 3-point shots tonight. He's going to get a lot of open looks. The way that the Timberwolves guard Luka, guard Kyrie, they're blitzing him, they're trapping him. A lot of swing corner threes for PJ Washington, and I think he knocks him down tonight. So I think he's going to have over 2.
Love it. I know very little about basketball, so I'm glad that you gave me confidence in this. I know that I was at the Super Bowl in Arizona and I met Karl Anthony Towns and he was lovely. So I'm going to go with him with 2+ threes. I'm just going to copy you with a different player. I'm going to go with him. He hit 4 of them last game. I looked it up. He's attempted 7 3-pointers per game in this series, and he shot 41.6% from the 3 this year. So do the math, carry the 1, get out your TI-89 calculator. That means if he shoots another 7 threes tonight, he should make 3 of them, and we only need 2 to win, so I feel good about that.
The only thing, that was all brilliant and great research. The only thing is up until last game in the series, he was 3 for 22 from the 3-point line. So that is the only issue there. But I do love this because he's hot. He made 4 last game. He's got to be aggressive, just like Kyrie and Luka on the Mavs side. He's got to be the X factor in tonight. So I think he's going to make more than 2 well. So
You do, baby. You do. Okay, so Mavs to win. Recap. Everybody go over to FanDuel, use the app, go hang out. You're bored at work. You don't want to talk to Sally in accounting. Do this instead. Mavs to win, Kyrie 20+, PJ Washington 2+ threes, and Karl Anthony Towns 2+ threes. And FanDuel, by the way, offering customers a 30% profit boost token on same game parlays placed on tonight's game. It's special profit boost tokens. I'll be honest, I don't want to play favorites. They are my favorite because you can use the PBT on the parlay that Chandler and I just busted out, or you guys can make your own, build it. So get to the Sportsbook app to build your own. And before I let you go, Chandler, I got to say, Micah should wear. If Micah ever had a Chandler Parsons jersey, should we get him in one for the next series?
Yeah, for sure. And you could just act like it's his last name on the jersey. It doesn't even have to rep me. It could just be his custom Dallas Mavs jersey. So I think you're onto something there. I think we should totally do that.
Let's do that. All right, Chandler Parsons, appreciate you guys. Everybody watch Run It Back. It is amazing and fun, and the only reason I know anything about the NBA. Thanks, Chandler.
Thank you.
We got Emanuel Sanders on the show, a Super Bowl champion. Trevor Sikkema will also join us in a bit. But Emanuel, where have you been hiding? Where have you been hiding? What you been doing? Haven't seen you in a couple years, I think. Cannot wait to catch up. The echo in here is bad, huh? Okay. Okay, YouTube. Trade Micah Parsons. I don't know. What did he say about Micah wearing a Mavs jersey? I don't no, just now that he had the Mavs one, not a, I think he should wear a Chandler one. I would thought they would have a high-tech state-of-art fridge. What does that mean? Hemi?
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you. It's a perfectly fine fridge. What's wrong with
it's
my
honestly
fridge?
it's really fitting that we talked about Rashad Bateman and they because that's the most concerning fridge I've seen since Patrick Bateman's in American Psycho. So it all ties together.
You're so funny. Did you log on to Zoom to just deliver that line? Way to
Yes,
go.
I've been waiting for 15 minutes just
You
for
like
that
how
line.
we're trying to,
Yeah.
you like how I'm trying to put together a parlay that people play and Chandler's like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that last leg. I'm like, wait, buddy, we're doing this together.
He liked Kyrie though. He liked that. So we'll see.
Oh, he had to argue. He had to argue about something. Oh, what's a
Yeah.
Tesla fridge? I'm sorry.
What?
No, it's
That's a
not.
thing?
I don't know what a Tesla fridge is. I will say the freezer leaks. And there's always like every other day, there's like a puddle of water. But at
I'll
least
get
it's
that
an
checked out.
affordable house, like that. Why would it leaks all the time? One of the fridges you operate on an app on your phone. The
Why don't you
biggest.
just allow that to continue? The fridge is leaking every day. Just,
No, I've that's not good. I was telling Richard about a place that I was looking at that has everything's on an iPad. It's a smart house, and and I said, that would be like my hellscape.
yeah, it's a horror movie waiting to happen.
Horror movie waiting to happen. I can't even. The fact that there's I just got itchy thinking about an app for a refrigerator. No, thank you. That's what we'll do on the next break. I'll show you guys these 7 apps that are on my phone. There's 7, I think. Okay. Save money by not having a fridge. Interesting point. Good thinking. Okay, welcome back to the Up and Adams Show. My next guest is a Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, Emanuel Sanders. Where have you been?
What up, Kay? How you doing?
I'm good. It's great to see you. What's new?
Not much, man. Just coaching. I'm Coach Sanders these days more than Emmanuel Sanders, the football player or an analyst. But I haven't did this in a while, man. I'm actually excited.
Good. Wait. What are you coaching? To fill me in.
Yeah, so I coach my son now. So I got a youth football team. I got a 7-on-7 team. We played in a tournament this past weekend out in Denver. We ended up losing to last year's national champions. But yeah, man, I'm enjoying that now. Dion got Coach Prime, so I guess I could take Coach Sanders. You know what I mean?
Not bad. It's not bad. What have you learned about yourself doing that? Going from obviously playing at the highest level in the NFL to being the coach. Is it like a reinvigorated love for the game? What is that like?
Oh, listen. It's headaches and anxiety trying to get little Johnny to get lined up. I was telling my guys the other day because we were playing flag, and I said, "You guys have no idea what I expect and what y'all are giving me right now." And the other coaches just started laughing because once you at the level of the NFL and then you got to go back down to 10-year-old football, it's like you got to grow a lot of patience, and I'm starting to learn that.
Well, I love that about you, but you were always an analyst, and you're going to hook me up with some of your knowledge right now, which I love because we've got big receiver action all over the league right now. Even this morning, Jalen Waddle signs a huge contract extension with the Dolphins. Emanuel, he got 3 years, nearly $85 million, $76 million guaranteed. That puts him, I believe, top 5 highest paid receivers. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely putting some icy hot on my knees right now. I think I'm gonna try to make a comeback because I mean these receivers is just getting paid crazy money right now. I mean, $28 million a year for Jalen Waddle. I don't want to call him a number 2 wide receiver because obviously on other teams he might be a number 1, but I mean Tyreek Hill is the number 1 wide receiver for the Dolphins. So I mean, these guys just getting paid, but you want to know what? Like, I'm happy for him. Like, he's deserving of that money, and I want everybody to come into the league and get paid. But I mean, you look at the numbers right there: 32 million. AJ Brown, Amon. You know, like these guys are just getting paid, and it just makes me want to go back into the league. I told myself, like, I would never be one of those receivers that would say, "Oh man, I wish I could go back in the league." But now I see how Jerry Rice and Chad Ochocinco, how those guys was feeling when I was getting paid because they weren't getting paid that much money. But now I'm sitting back and I'm one of those old guys that sit back and saying, man, I wish I could still play right now to get that kind of money because that's a beautiful thing.
Is it the money or is it the kids not listening to you that wants you to run back to the NFL more?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
Well, listen, could you, what would it take for you to get back out there? Like, what would that look like? Is it completely impossible?
No, it's impossible. It's impossible.
No,
Look, I'm all about, you know, I've had my time. Well, when I retired, I was the oldest receiver in the league. And it's crazy because when you're in the National Football League, you think that, you know, you're going to be there for a long time. And then you hit this point where you look up and you're 34 and then you got 21-year-old or 22-year-old receivers coming in and you're like, dude, like I can't keep up with these young guys. Like I'm 34, they're 22, they can run all day. And that's when I realized like it's time for me to hang it up.
Jerry Rice played till he was 42. I think you got 5 years left in you, my friend.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Kay, I mean, what you want to see me come back, Kay? I got a couple plays.
Come back. I feel like I do. I miss you around the NFL. So if we get you on TV, which I'm sure is coming up, if you feel like doing it, you did it, of course, when you wrapped up your amazing career. So I would just like to see that. I miss seeing you. But I'm going to ask you a tougher question. Because of course you're going to say Waddle get paid. Of course, we all get paid. We want every player to get paid, especially a wide receiver. But there's a bunch of really great ones next in line to get paid. So out of Jefferson, CD, Chase, Ayuk, and Higgins, who do you think deserves to be the highest paid receiver in the league?
Oh, I mean, we all know that. Hey, for the viewers that's watching, you already know what I'm going to say. It's the top receiver in the game, and that's Justin Jefferson. He deserves to be the highest paid. But, I mean, what is that contract going to look like? You know, like that's going to be ridiculous. But then you name the guy, CD. I mean, he broke the Cowboys, you know, franchise record last year, too. So he's up there, too. So, I mean, it's a lot of big contracts that's getting ready to come up, and I'm excited to see what they look like.
The players, and by the way, we were talking about Justin Jefferson, seeing what Waddle got, it's got to be 40 plus, right? 40 plus a year.
Right. He's going to do a lot of gritty to the bank. He's going to gritty a lot to the bank.
The players are in OTAs right now, which I don't think you miss at all. We know there's always some kind of game or competition going on in the locker room. Is there something that got heated in a locker room back in your day that y'all played?
Oh, man, heated. I remember when I was with the Steelers, we used to play trash basketball. We used to take tape and make like tape that they used to wrap your ankle with. And when we would make a basketball, we would have like 3-point contest. We would play knockout with it, and that was fun. But then when I got to the Broncos, it was more Connect Four. And obviously, you guys are listening to the Connect Four champion of the Denver Broncos. I won a Super Bowl, but I just want to throw it out there. I need like a chain or a ring that says Connect Four champion. As you could tell, I was competitive about it. And then we used to play dominoes. We used to play a lot of dominoes. Like some of my best memories with the Broncos is playing with Von Miller, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris. And I mean, we're just competing. We got 5 minutes to be out on the field for practice, but yeah, we got to finish this game. So, those were the times. And that's what I miss the most about the league is the camaraderie in the locker room with the guys.
Did you ever play Peyton Manning in Connect Four? I can't believe he lost to you and he took that well.
And are you kidding? Peyton was up in the office meeting with the offensive coordinators. He wanted to know what was going on. Peyton was doing his job, right? Making sure everything is tight, being Peyton Manning, just being Peyton Manning. But I was the other night. Maybe at some point I'll bring it up and see if I can get, a little competition going with him in Connect Four. That'll be fun.
That would be fun. I'd love to see that. There's quite a competition going on in Denver with the quarterbacks this summer. And then you look at, they've got Cortland Sutton there. They get rid of Jerry Jeudy. He goes on his own way, hoping he can reclaim and live up to his talent that we all know that he has and his potential. Do you think that they have enough in that receiver room in Denver to help make it work with whoever wins the starting gig?
Yeah. I think they do. I spoke with Cortland the other day. He's out in Florida right now, training locked and loaded. He's one of the top receivers in the game. I mean, if you just give him an opportunity, I mean, he's going to make plays for you. Tim Patrick, I played with Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick is a guy that's going to go full speed. He's going to give you everything he's got every single play. They got the young guy Troy Franklin coming in, and then Mims. I actually enjoyed watching Mims last year. I mean, with the touches that he had, he made the most of them, even in the special teams play. He was special on kickoff return and that sort. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, it's going to come down to the quarterback play and, Sean Payton making sure they're on the right page. But I think in the receiver room, I think they're going to be just fine.
Knowing Coach Payton as well as you know him, we're hearing Zach Wilson, who he brought in, obviously a talented guy. He could get the best out of him. We hear he's been impressing. They draft Bo Nix, which means that Coach Payton had to really like him. Knowing Coach as well as you do, what is he looking for? What is it that he's looking for when making the decision on the week 1 starter?
He's looking for the next Drew Brees. And when I was out there in 2020, that was a COVID year, and I just remember, I ended up missing 2 games that COVID year because I ended up catching it, and we had guys in and out. Mike Thomas was hurt that year. He was literally playing with some rookies at one point, and him and Sean Payton, the way that they kind of connected, and they were one on the field in terms of Drew knew exactly what Payton wanted, and Payton knew that Drew was going to put us in the right situation, and then we still won games. And that's Payton's offense. He likes to stay ahead of the defensive coordinator. He wants a quarterback that you can throw it down the field, but also make the right reads, check the ball down when need to be, and just give me positive yards and keep me ahead of the sticks. And everything that I'm hearing about Bo Nix is that's what he does. Now, I don't know much about Zach Wilson. Truthfully, I don't know if we've seen the real Zach Wilson because, with the Jets, he really didn't have, in my opinion, the right coaching in terms of offensive coordinator. That's just my opinion. So it's going to be interesting to see what Sean Payton can do with both of those guys. It's a project, but man, I said it and I mean it. For those 2 guys that have Sean Payton as an offensive coordinator, what a blessing.
Which quarterback would you go with? And there's also Stidham. Jarrett Stidham's there. He was there. He's familiar with Sean Payton's offense from last year. Who would you go with? Wilson with some experience, but a bit of a project. The new Bo Nix, might be the next Drew Brees, like you're saying, or Stidham.
My son's screensaver has been Bo Nix for the past year. So if he watches this, he's gonna be upset, But I like Bo Nix. I liked him at Oregon. The transition from college to the NFL, we'll see how he does with that. But I'll know more. Training camp is probably about 10 minutes from me right now, so I'll be around the facility watching, and I'll know more then. But it's hard for me to pick right now.
I want to ask you a little bit about the Niners because we have an analyst from Pro Football Focus, the numbers, the grades, all of that. And he ranked the quarterbacks using metrics and all of that. And he got Brock Purdy in the 4th tier of quarterback rankings, number 13 among all quarterbacks, behind Trevor Lawrence, behind Jordan Love. Purdy's still a polarizing guy somehow. Do you think that's a fair spot for Purdy, or would you put him above or below 13?
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair spot. As far as Purdy, I just don't understand why people just keep sleeping on him. I was talking to Debo last year just about Purdy, and I said, man, what is it about Purdy? And he says, man, you should see him in the huddle. He comes in the huddle. He plays with a certain confidence. He comes in and he believes. He makes other guys believe. And I play with quarterbacks like that, and that's the type of guy that the Niners have. And I mean, last year, he was a couple plays from being a Super Bowl champion. Would that ranking still be the same? But everything that I'm hearing is just keep sleeping on Purdy. He's gonna keep proving them wrong. But man, what a heck of a story to go from Mr. Irrelevant to being relevant and going to the Super Bowl last year. And I'm rooting for Purdy. I hope they finish it this year and go and win it all.
I hope they do too. And like that means a lot coming from you, because you played with some you played with the legends, Emmanuel. Like, do you ever think about that? Roethlisberger, Peyton, I'm sure you think about it, but I mean, like, I looked at the list this morning and was like, Breeze, Josh Allen. It's amazing. And so to hear you speak so highly of Brock means a lot. It resonates. And I was curious, out of those guys I just mentioned, which one do you wish you could go catch one pass from in a game right now?
Probably Peyton. Peyton again. 2014 was just beautiful. 2014 was just beautiful. And just playing with Peyton and it's like toilet paper just dropping in your head. It was just so easy. And sometimes I think it was kind of like, golly type in terms of like, I'm running and like it was so many perfect balls. But then I think about Josh Allen too. I mean, that's just hard. I think about Ben. It's hard, man. I've been blessed to play with a lot of great quarterbacks, man. And I mean, what a ride I had, what a heck of a career I had, and what a blessing it was to play with so many great guys. And I mean this honestly. As good as they were football players, they were even better teammates. From Drew Brees to Josh Allen to Peyton Manning, man. I love those guys, not just because of what they did on the field, but also their character and how they carried themselves, and how they looked after me and my family.
It's beautiful. How much thought do you give to the fact that you almost played with Tom?
A lot of thought. Tom, and not only that, after I left the Niners, sometimes I'm like, man, I should just went and play with Pete Mahomes. I'm like, man, I could have 4 Super Bowl rings right now, But I mean, just to play with those guys. But I think about stuff like that. But hey, sometimes you can think about it, but you got to look back and be like, you know what? Like, man, hey, job well done, and truly a blessing.
I really feel like you and Tom would have made magic. I know that the Steelers matched the offer sheet, but like that would have been, I mean, if you added that to the list of quarterbacks you did play with, like it's insane. Like you had it was the best situation ever. I would have loved to see Tom throw to you.
I tried my hardest to go out there too.
I'm sure. What do you make of this Steelers team? Like when you look at it, is any thoughts, there's a lot of fans that say they're just at 500, they're mid or they're whatever. And then I look at them and I say, but you have Mike Tomlin. Like it's so impressive year in, year out. I guess I'll ask you this, your thoughts on it, but also if you could add one receiver, and there's rumors about that, who would you add?
Oh man. Mike Thomas. He's a free agent right now. I was watching George Pickens. I mean, he had a heck of a year last year, but is that receiver room deep enough? Like that's my only thing. So who would they add? Obviously, Mike hasn't been healthy, but every time I think about Mike, I think about a healthy Mike Thomas, making plays. Not the past 3 years, but when I was with him in New Orleans, the way that this guy prepares. I mean, I've never met a guy besides myself and Antonio Brown who even at practice every single rep he's going full speed. I remember a few times in New Orleans we had walkthroughs and Mike's still running full speed at walkthroughs, and I'm going full speed and I'm looking at him like you're crazy. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. So I think that even that addition to that receiver room, they're kind of young. They got Allen Robinson, who's coming up on year 10, I think. But I think that'd be good. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing, Russell Wilson, in that system and see what they can do. But man, is that a tough division? I mean, you look at, the Browns, you look at the Bengals, and then you come back and you're looking at Baltimore. I mean, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
Jair Alexander opened we got to talk a little defense. I just want to rile you up a little bit, Emmanuel. He opened up his media availability yesterday and he said, the best corner in the league has entered the chat. Is he right?
Jair funny, man. This dude's been talking smack. I played against him a few times. He talks so much. Can I cuss on here? He talks so much shit. But he bags it up though, man, because he was talking smack when we were getting ready to play against him. I mean, he came out and I went against him a few times and I was like, I get it because his footwork, he's smart. He reminds me a lot of Chris Harris. I played with Chris Harris, and Chris Harris, you could try to get him to be quiet, but even if you beat him or he gives up a big play, he's not going to lose his confidence. And I think a lot of corners should have that confidence. I think all players should feel like they're the best. But in my eyes, I think he's top 5, but I think Sauce Gardner is the best corner in the league, if you ask me.
Why?
Oh, man, Sauce is just he's a lanky corner. I didn't have the opportunity to go against him, but I mean, from everything that I hear from the players, I mean, he's a ball hawk, big corner. I always hated going against big corners. I mean, they got those long arms. The thing is you got to get off the jam, but once you get them going, and you're running full speed and you stop on a dime, most big corners, they have a hard time transitioning to be able to stop. But what I'm hearing from Sauce is he can do it all. So, and the numbers are showing that. So, that's why I give him that title for number 1, just based off what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing.
Who's the corner? You say you didn't like going up against lengthy corners like Sauce. Who do you miss? Who's the one cornerback that you can now say that you miss battling out there with the most?
Oh man, I mean, if that's the case, then that's the corners who I won a Super Bowl 50 with, Akeem and Chris Harris. Those are battles at practice that will literally get to throwing blows because we were both going at it. But in the game, Jalen Ramsey, just seeing these great corners and getting to go against them. I remember even Darrelle Revis in 2014, we were playing against the Patriots, me going up against him, and we're both looking at each other and we're both exhausted. We're exhausted because he's playing man-to-man the whole game. And I mean, we're just going at each other. I still remember looking at him and him breathing hard and me breathing hard. And I'm looking at him like, dude, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going at you. But to go against, a Hall of Famer like that and to be productive, I think, I had 151 yards that game. Not all the yards was against him.
I was going to say that game we just showed you like literally torched the earth on that game.
Yeah, but it was a battle though. I didn't get all those yards against him, but it was cool when I look back on my career to sit back and say, what does Darrelle Revis have and what makes him so special? I know exactly what it is. I mean, he has great feet. His football IQ is up there, and it's hard to run past him. And he has a technique like Mayweather, in which it's hard to crack the code on him.
I'm surprised you didn't say Josh Norman.
Oh, that's my dog too. That's my dog. But I think that's more
Odell. Had some battles. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's more Odell though. That's more Odell. You remember that battle?
I love that you're smiling and we're like recanting these crazy things. Yeah, you and Norman definitely had some battles that I remember. You guys got into it a bunch, which we love. We have Chris Harris on the show. Last one for you. We have Chris Harris on the show on Monday. I would like you to ask him a question. Let's get me off the camera and if I'll show him this on Monday. What should I ask him, or what do you want to ask him?
Oh, what shall I ask Chris Harris? Man, first of all, man, congratulations on your retirement, man. You had a heck of a career, and I'm proud of you, dude. And not only that, man, you got to tell them some cool stories about that Super Bowl 50 team, because you know how that locker room was. So tell us a cool story about that Super Bowl 50 team that you remember.
I love that. All right. Best wide receiver room in the NFL right now. Go.
Oh, man, that's tough. That's tough because I look at the Texans with with Diggs going over there, Tank Dell, and Nico. But then I look at the Titans, and I'm like, man, like Hop,
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Boyd, and now what they're saying about Burke. I mean, this is just. I mean, that receiving room is just ridiculous. Obviously, the quarterback play has to get there, but I mean, if I'm a quarterback, that's the receivers I want to be thrown to. I mean, because I remember watching Calvin Ridley in Atlanta when I was with the Saints, and he was running like I see route running as an art. And when I tell you it was like Picasso. Like I literally got up off the bench and I was standing up just watching him run routes. I mean, that's how special I think Calvin Ridley is. So I mean, I look at that receiving core, and then you look at the Dolphins too. So I mean, those are my top three for sure.
Those
It's
are
hard to
top three.
pick 1, 2, or 3. They got to prove it during the season.
Let's listen to Calvin really talking about, you just mentioned it, Treylon Burke. Let's hear it. And I want your reaction to this.
All right.
Like seriously, bro, he's gonna be a stud. There's no worries in him. You know, I mean, what I see, he's like Julio, AJ Brown. He's like T.O. Dude, that big, that fast, man. I mean, he's a stud, man. You don't gotta worry about it.
I hope he's right.
I praise.
Look, yeah, I hope he's right. Look, I'm like an OG, right? And I became an OG when I was in the league. And all those young guys is coming. I always say, man, I want everybody to walk out of National Football League with a pocket full of money and a great career. And I hope that for Burks. You know, I hope that for Burks. You know, he battled some injuries last year, but I mean, in that receiving room with those veterans, I mean, he's in a great place to succeed. You know, but you know that's pretty cool that he said that about him.
Big praise. We'll see if Will Levis can drop the ball in his hands like toilet paper, like you had. It'll be all on a tall order for Will Levis. Emanuel, you're the absolute best. Great to see you. Send love to your beautiful family. You have so many blessings. Like you have everything you're saying about what you want for these guys in the NFL. I believe that you want it and you had it. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, Kay. As always, thank you.
Good to see you. Talk to you down the line. Of course, we're going to take a short break here. We got Trevor Sikkema coming up. We're going to talk top 3 breakouts. Hopefully, we've been trying to do it all week. So we'll try to get that out. And we got a big show. Yeah, Chris Harris on Monday. I believe we have another GM joining us on the show next week as well, which will be really exciting. He's so smiley, Hamilton. I love, I can hear you, by the way. I'm going to be off camera for a minute, but he's the best.
He really is. You know, love getting the chance to meet him a couple of years ago. Actually, the first time, I think it was the first time both of us met him, was at the Super Bowl in Houston, and he was partnered with Josh Norman on something. It was a year after he and the Broncos beat Norman in the Super Bowl. They had a lot of words between each other in between, but they were partnered. I think it was Bounty, and they brought us this golden toilet seat. Do you remember that?
What are you talking about?
They brought a toilet seat to set as like part of their Super Bowl promotion at Bounty, and there was like still beef between them, and it was awkward. I actually have that toilet seat somewhere. I think
you're gonna complain about my empty fridge, but you're hoarding a toilet seat from back. What are you actually talking about?
You don't remember that?
No, thank God. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, we'll have to dig up the clip somewhere.
Okay.
What are you drinking? What is that?
A smoothie. Not from the fridge.
Yeah.
My in-house chef called Postmates. If you must know, it's the energy elixir smoothie, and it's delicious. And smoothies aren't healthy, so I know they aren't. I know. I don't remember that at all. About
That was amazing. I'll dig it up later.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So we have got Trevor Sycamore.
Yeah, excited to dig into this quarterback stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was, I think tiers are hard.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
Huh?
Because there's so many good ones, and no matter who, somebody's going to be upset no matter what you do.
Yeah, I like the blurbs he has. They're good. But now we're going to pick him apart and dissect him. Our good Trevor Sycamore.
It's hard, but with that being said,
With that said, let's do it. Lead draft analyst for the all-knowing Pro Football Focus, ladies and gentlemen, co-host of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast, Trevor Sycamore. Great name, great guy, great list of these quarterbacks that we're going to dig into. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you having me.
Good. I'm glad you're doing fantastic. And now we're just going to pick you apart. Now, I actually really like your list. Everybody should go over to PFF and check it out. It's a quick, easy read, and it gets you really, it's a good scene setter for as we get through OTAs and head into the great abyss before training camp starts. It'll really get you set on the right direction. Nothing crazily controversial. I liked it, especially tier 1, which is labeled simply Mahomes. So before you hit publish, I got to ask you, which quarterback were you most finicky with? Who were you moving in the ranking in your process the most?
Ooh, okay. This is a good question. I think 2 immediately come to mind. Jordan Love being at number 11, right outside of the top 10, but more importantly, to start what is tier 4. I labeled this tier 4 as this like melting pot of starters because it's like Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa, Geno Smith. Like they're all in this group where you can make plenty of arguments for their strengths, but also for each of them, there are little deficiencies or little reasons to doubt them that you say, okay, well, does this mean more than this when you compare it to the other player? And so it's just a massive tier in the middle. And Jordan Love is the one that I feel like I went back and forth a lot on because how Jordan Love ended 2023 was incredible. I mean, from week 8 on, he had an elite PFF passing grade. He had 27 big time throws, only 10 turnover worthy plays. I mean, it was one of the best stretches of any of those quarterbacks. And so I was wondering, should I put him in that tier above, that next tier of guys who I think are quality, high caliber, future postseason run type of quarterbacks. And I think Love can certainly be that, but I put that line right between him and then CJ Stroud, who I had at number 10. That was one that I thought about a lot. And then, of course, me putting a rookie in Caleb Williams, who has not played it down in the NFL yet, at number 19. It got people riled up a little bit, especially when it was above certain quarterbacks that their team has on their organization. So having Caleb Williams at number 19, just because he hasn't played it down yet, I think those are the 2 that I really thought about the most and probably labored over the most.
I should have had the list sent to me. Sorry, I have to look at it because who did you have? Who did you have Caleb over, and what was your reasoning?
So I had Caleb over, like Baker Mayfield was right after him at 20. Derek Carr's at 21, Russell Wilson's at 22, Deshaun Watson's at 23. And then we get into another tier of like a lot of younger guys. And the reason why I had Caleb above some of those veterans is because those names that I listed, yeah, they're guys that have proven they can win in this league, but they've also kind of proven that they can lose in this league as well. They're very hot and cold. They're up and down type of quarterbacks. And so when I looked at Caleb Williams, there was 2 ways that I could do this list, right? I could just put all the rookie quarterbacks at the very end and say, hey, Caleb is 28 because he hasn't played it down yet. But to me, that's disingenuous of the exercise. If I'm ranking quarterbacks going into the year, I'm going to put Caleb Williams over the guys that I think he's going to play better than. And that included some of those quarterbacks that, again, they're veterans. We've seen them do it before. They're just very hot and cold, whether it was last year or throughout their entire career. So yes, Caleb Williams is going to go through those hot and cold up and downs as well, but he's number 1 overall pick for a reason. And I'm a draft guy. So I talk about how great he's going to be for the Chicago Bears. Again, it would be disingenuous of me to just put him at the end of this list because he's a rookie. I think that number 19, right at the end of the top 20, I think that's the right spot for him.
I just feel like
Derek Carr, I get inconsistent. He might play the same. Russell Wilson might not even have the job. I get it coming off last year. Deshaun Watson can't stay healthy, hasn't done it. Anthony Richardson coming off an injury. I would probably put Anthony Richardson maybe above Caleb Williams. I just think he had it before the injury and now he's back. And so I think that. And then I'm very curious. Aren't you a Bucks fan?
My Twitter handle is Tampa Bay Trey. So yes, you're right. I am from Tampa, and you don't have to remind me. My friends in Tampa.
You're judging Baker off of like what he did before. He just got paid because he is the guy. What is holding you back from thinking that Baker can follow up on what he did last year?
It was still the up and down of last season, right? I think that there were stretches where Baker was awesome, right? You go into the game where he goes into Green Bay, a game that they really needed, and not just has a great performance, almost a perfect performance. I think he had a perfect passer rating during that game in Green Bay, which is unbelievable. But then you have to take also the other games into account. The week after, they play the New Orleans Saints at home. They have a chance to win the division and lock it down. He doesn't have a good performance. And the week after that, they're playing the Carolina Panthers. They're the worst team in the NFL. They go on the road. This should be easy. And it was anything but easy. And so it's just, I think that re-signing Baker was absolutely the right move for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make. But when you look at his interceptions and touchdowns, and when you look at his big time throws and his turnover-worthy plays, they're close to even. And that just speaks to kind of the up and down that Baker has been. Now, can he obviously get more consistent this upcoming year? Absolutely he can. But again, new offensive coordinator coming in. That's a little bit of an unknown as well. You have to throw that in because David Canales isn't there too. So trust me. Trust me, Bucks fans have absolutely let me know that they are not happy with a rookie being above them. But Caleb Williams being as talented he is.
Fans should just be embracing you and saying, you think Baker's great. You just know that Caleb's going to be that much better. That's the way I'm choosing to look at it. But we have to move on because the show sort of, I want to get through a couple more things here, including the Goff hate that I know that you're getting because, I'm looking, we looked at the highest contracts when Jared Goff got his payday. The rest of the guys are in tier 2 and 3. You've got Jared at 16.
Yes. I have Jared Goff at number 16. And yes, Lions fans have not been happy with me, despite the fact that I gave them the best offseason grade of any team in the NFL. I'm just going to, defend myself a little bit there and make sure that they remember that part. But look, when I look at Jared Goff, I don't mean to take anything away from him. He's in a really great system. He's got a good offensive coordinator, but he is still playing really, really well. And when you look at his numbers versus the last couple of years that he has been in Detroit, his numbers this past year were the best since he has been traded from the Los Angeles Rams. However, when you look at big time throws and turnover worthy plays, two stats that we really love to lean on here at PFF, the big time throw rate was just 3.4% for Jared Goff. That was 31st in the NFL. And the turnover worthy play rate, although it was low, I think it was 2.4%. That was only 14th best in the NFL. So him being at 16, I'm not trying to necessarily take away anything from him and the success that he's had, but it's still relatively low when it comes to these higher output throws, these bigger time throws, and these more contextualized stats. So if you were to take Jared Goff and take him off the Lions and put him in another individual situation, as we would say, like in baseball, wins above replacement, if you put him on an average team all around, how much is he elevating the rest of that group? And for Jared Goff, I think he's wonderful for Detroit and can absolutely be a Super Bowl winning quarterback for Detroit in this situation. But individually, him stacked up against some of these other quarterbacks, there's a lot of statistics that point to the fact that I'm pretty comfortable having him at 16 on this list.
Minutes from going to the Super Bowl.
I know.
In the NFL, in passing, went to the NFC title game. So I'm a little confused. I understand where Detroit fans are getting it from. Who deserves the most credit for Detroit's success?
Ben Johnson's doing an incredible job. I think certainly Dan Campbell and the way that both him and Brad Holmes, I think would probably be the two that I would credit the most because they have set up an unbelievable culture in that room where you have so much success. There are so many places that you can point success on that team. The elevation of the secondary, what Aiden Hutchinson and that defensive line have become, the all-out effort that they play with, how they play as such a team in one unit, what Amon-Ra St. Brown has become, what that offensive line has been, the weapons that they've gotten in the backfield. Like there are so much there that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they have their fingerprints all over the roster. And so to me, they are the catalyst for putting together an unbelievable group that the sum of their parts is a Super Bowl worthy team, and one that I think can get over the hump and to the Super Bowl this year and perhaps even capture that Lombardi trophy. Yes, even with Jared Goff as the quarterback, I fully still believe that.
I mean, he left McVay and had success. I feel like this is an outrage. I think, he goes to Detroit, to all places. It's happening again, and you're putting it on the coaches. I feel like you've got a little something against Jared Goff. I'm just going to put it out there. No, I want to wrap with this. With something I liked more than everything else is the Joe Burrow of it all, because I'm seeing lists everywhere, leaving this man off of them, not in the top 10 of quarterbacks all of a sudden. Like, nobody cares. You have him at 3, right behind Mahomes, right behind Lamar Jackson. I'm curious, do you feel like you're higher on him than other people? Are we forgetting about him? And then with him against Lamar, what was the conversation in your head of who to put where?
Yeah, I think that I am probably higher on Joe Burrow than other people, just because there's so many elite arm talents that are around him, right? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, obviously Patrick Mahomes, but you can bring in guys like, CJ Stroud and Matthew Stafford, guys who might have bigger arms than Joe Burrow does. But I have so much faith when Joe Burrow is fully healthy and when he is commanding the pocket, when he is the guy in the huddle leading those players. Like, I have so much faith that the ball is going to go exactly where it needs to, exactly when it needs to get there. And the last 2 seasons in which he was fully healthy, elite PFF passing grades in both of those seasons, over 5% big time throw percentage, which would have been top 15, top 10 in the NFL this year. And on top of that, a very low turnover worthy play percentage. So he's not only pushing the ball far in top 10 numbers in a lot of those categories, but he's also taking care of it. He's top 10, top 5 when it comes to avoiding negatives as well. So Joe Burrow, between the ears, I just think that he is absolutely elite and one of the best in the NFL, and he should still get recognized as that.
I love that. I love that you have him at 3. Everybody go check it out at pff.com. I know I asked you some tough questions, but it's all in good fun. And you were objective, very objective. And I really like your blurbs. You're a great writer. I don't know if you wrote those or you told them something. I loved that. And it's a nice, quick, easy read, just as your podcast is an easy listening. So everybody go check out NFL Exchange and get smarter on a Thursday. Thanks, Trevor.
Appreciate it, Kay.
All right, let's see you guys next week with Chris Harris. I believe we have Nick Casario on the show next week. We'll get it to you guys.